Welcome, Bhajuba, to SporTale.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Come on, Pune can do better than this, yeah?
आधा पूना सोया हुआ है अभी. आज तो विजय भाई आप बैठिए ना.
So, like I said, we're talking about Virat Kohli, and Harbhajan has many anecdotes to share with us about Virat, but we'll talk about his anecdotes too. But before I get into the book, you know, I'm a news guy, and so I will do a newsman's job. The biggest headline from Harbhajan Singh has come that this is the weakest Australian side to visit India. Bhajuba, would you like to elaborate on that? Why did you say it?
I mean, why did I say? Is there any confusion? Why I said because I felt this is the weakest side, and the reason is there's no Steve Ogg, there's no Ricky Ponting, no Gilchrist, no Shane Warne, no McGrath, no Justin Langer, no Mark Waugh. So would you still say that this is the best side?
No, I wouldn't. Actually, you know, recently in conversation with Saurav Ganguly, we were talking about India, Australia, and he said that, you know, Bhaju used to tell me कि एक विकेट ले ली, दो विकेट ले ली, तीन ले ली, सातवें नंबर पर गिलक्रिस्ट आ रहा है, मैं कितनी विकेट लूँ? You know, that was the team that you played against.
I mean, that was the champion team. There's no doubt about it. You know, that Australian team, you know, showed a lot of the other countries how to win test matches, and they dominated all over the world, you know, by winning everywhere. And the competition was at the best, I would say, and that Australian team had 11 champions player in their team. That's the reason they won 3 World Cup. And of course, I don't know how many test matches in a row. You guys will know much more than that. And we were, I mean, you know, the team who actually stopped them from winning when they came over to India. So I think that's the best series I've ever played. You know, against the top Australian side, and they were definitely the best side, you know, I have played against, and they were all the champion players.
Yeah, and like he said, it was the Indian team that rested that slide when Australia were winning against every team, and this man was majorly responsible, like I said.
And actually that series gave us a lot of confidence to move forward, and from there, that series onwards, you know, you can see the face of Indian cricket was obviously changed, and belief in the team itself changed, that we wanted to do it on the regular basis like what Australia did, and we wanted to win abroad now. You know, after winning that series, we wanted to be the team who did well in abroad, and we wanted to recognize as well as, you know, Australia did in that time. So that was the aim of that team, that okay, let's tour to Australia or England or New Zealand or South Africa, let's start winning there, and if we'll start winning there, we'll be regarded as one of the best team who played for for India at that point of time, you know.
Vijay sir, I don't want to embarrass Harbhajan and उनको खुद
Please don't.
कि अपनी वो बताएं, इसलिए आप बताएं, just tell viewers here that, you know, you've seen him from a very young age. What brought out the best in him when he was facing the toughest opponent? Was he always like that? Was he a fighter from his younger days?
I think he was a fighter. The first time I heard about him was from Anil Kumble. Because Kumble had asked Maninder Singh to go and watch a Punjab bowler because he was playing an under-15 match at the Palam ground. And Maninder called me and we went. And he was enthusiastic, always wanting to take wickets, I remember. And I was fortunate to cover that series which he's talking about. At the beginning of the series, Harbhajan wasn't sure of his place because there were quite a lot of competition. But Saurav insisted, and in fact, the selection meeting was extended. It went on and on because Saurav Ganguly wanted Harbhajan to be in the side. And at the end of it, you must have seen, I mean, everyone knew where Harbhajan was. 32 wickets in a series, and that hat-trick at Calcutta, that was an amazing match. Everyone remembers Lakshman, yes, Dravid. But what about his... if he had not taken wickets, you wouldn't have won the game. So he's always been like this, on the field, very competitive. Off the field, we can see what he is, and a great mimic.
Yeah, we'll get him to do that later in the...
Maybe, you know, before he leaves, he can mimic both of us from here.
I don't think so.
No, I know he can mimic a lot of players. We'll get him to do that. But Bhajuba, could you hazard a guess? We were talking about Australia. You know, everyone loves to hear predictions. If I was if I could like get you to predict the India versus Australia series, what would your prediction be?
Well, I said if Australia plays well, India will win 3-0.
Okay.
If Australia will play well, and if Australia don't play well, then 4-0 is the result. But definitely Australia going down in a big way, because this is just the namesake. This is an Australian team to me, this. And if you see the quality, they don't have any top batting. If we see their batting lineup, apart from Steve Smith and Warner, I don't see anyone playing for a longer period of time in this particular team. So I think 3-0 or 4-0 would be a good one. But if India plays badly, they will definitely still win the series 3-0, and Australia need to play well to stop Indians to win 4-0.
Okay, Vijay sir, do we have a tomorrow's headline? If Australia play well, they will lose 3-0.
I think that is the headline. Already he made headlines by saying is the weakest. But I would like to ask Harbhajan one thing. How was it bowling to that team, especially Matthew Hayden, who had a big stride, and spinners really dreaded bowling to Hayden, or maybe they had Damon Martin on the earlier series when we went to Australia. I mean, what quality batsmen how would you differentiate between that batting lineup and this?
Honestly speaking, I'm not here to just talk about myself, but Hayden was a class player. There's no doubt about it. Hayden was a player who had a lot of, courage to bat, and he used to, dominate spinners, and he never used to, bog down and defend the ball. Even his defense was like a solid defense, and he was one batsman. He used to, use his feet really well against spinners. A top batsman with all the qualities, who can hit sixes at will. He was the one who started hitting sixes in the Test cricket in that era, where people were still playing for single, double, and four was scored on a bad delivery. But he wanted to dominate the bowler, and it was tough to bowl to him. To be honest, first series we couldn't bowl to him. Though I got him out, but every time I got him out, he was batting on 100 or 90 or 200. He was a class player. He was tough to bowl to. But second time when they toured here, we figured out, how to bowl to him, and we set the right sort of field. We obviously got him out early. He didn't score as many runs as in the previous series in 2001, but still he was a class player and always will be. And he was, I regard him as a top player of spin bowling.
Vijay sir, over the years covering India, Australia, and whatever little years I've also covered, we got so accustomed to the Australian former players or current players sledging even before a series started. I can never forget a McGrath saying, oh, 4-0, India's going to lose. How times have changed. We have Harbhajan here who says, if they play well, 3, which for many, my generation, it's a great change to have. All this while we just heard from them. Now we have this newer generation. Have you noticed this change too? And how does it augur for Indian cricket as such?
I think they were sledging during his time also. It's not that they would take it back.
Well,
they
that's the only thing they did in that series. Cricket khele hote to shayad jeet jate.
They used to give it back, and if you notice the earlier generation, when I started covering, they looked at cricket very differently. And sledging was not part of Indian cricket at all. Even in domestic cricket, there were not many incidents of sledging. And if you look at someone like Gavaskar, bowlers would not like to sledge to him, because when you started sledging, he would concentrate more, and it would become difficult to get them out. So those batsmen, their reaction to sledging was to bowl better, bat better, or field better, whatever, and try and win the games. But his generation, his team, when the Saurav Ganguly's team, it was a very different mindset they had, and they would compete very strongly. And sledging, yes, I mean, they had some champion sledgers in their team also, who would give it back. Huh? Champion sledgers, yes. So that was, I think that was one era where Indians learned to play aggressive. And now you see it's a very aggressive team Australians will encounter when they play day after.
Now, since we're here to talk about your book, Driven, on Virat Kohli, Ajuba, I'll start with you. You know, your earliest memory of Virat Kohli, the first time you saw him may have been, I think, when he didn't play for India. Your first memory, and what did you make of him when you first saw him?
I remember Lalchand Rajput spoke about him for the first auction, IPL auction. You know, Virat Kohli is a very good young player. We should look to have him in Mumbai Indian setup, but we couldn't get him because I don't know what happened. So RCB got Virat Kohli, and that was the first time, first game Mumbai Indian and RCB were playing, and I was captaining that game because Paji was not playing that game. First two games he didn't play, and after that I didn't play the first season. You know, you all know the reasons. So
some may not remember. Should I remind them?
So, no, it's okay. Everyone knows. So we make mistakes. It's okay. We move forward. We make mistakes. Everything is learning. So basically, that's the first time I saw Virat batting. You know, he only played a couple of balls and he got out to Sanat Jayasuriya on mid-off. But from there onwards, you know, we were meeting, and you know, he was always a player, you know, who could play for India at any time. And I remember him getting into the Indian team when we were all in Sri Lanka, and Viru got injured, and Mandis was troubling everyone, and this guy came, and he scored 50 odd against Ajanta Mendes and company, you know, and
Murli was also there.
yeah, Murli was also there, and he batted beautifully. And after he finished with his batting and stuff, he came up to me and he was like, "Paji, अच्छा खेले ना?" मैं कहा बहुत ज़बरदस्त खेले. मतलब वो ऐसा challenges जहाँ होते हैं ना, वहाँ विराट कोहली खड़ा है. वो आज से नहीं है, वो under 19 से, वो उसके खून में है. तो he is a champion player not because he is a class batsman, because उसके खून में वो दो चीज़ दौड़ती है कि जहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा मुश्किल आएगी विराट कोहली वहाँ जाके खड़ा हो जाएगा कि मैं करता हूँ.
आपके साथ there's a personal bond I've seen on social media, be it at your wedding and everywhere else. There's a personal bonding. How did that develop, and what is that personal bonding that you share with Virat? Because of course सब आपके teammates होते हैं, but कुछ होते हैं जिनके साथ बहुत अच्छे bonding होती है. For you, like Sachin Tendulkar is one, Yuvraj Singh, and I've seen with Virat also.
See, Virat is like a younger brother. He is one of those guys who likes to talk, who likes to do things with people who like to spend time with. और हम लोग वहाँ सीनियर थे और पंजाबी बॉन्ड थी कि पंजाबी टीम में हम हैं, हमारे से आके बात करता है. और ऑब्वियसली हम लोग वहाँ टीम में सीनियर थे, बट एट द सेम टाइम वी वर लाइक कि यार बड़ा भाई है कि पंजाबी है और ये शुगल वाले बंदे हैं तो मज़ा भी लगाते हैं ये. तो हमारे पास आता था, हमारे साथ उठता बैठता था, एंड वी ऑलवेज ट्रीट हिम लाइक यंगर ब्रदर. नो मैटर आज वो हिंदुस्तान का कप्तान बन जाए, ये वर्ल्ड का कप्तान बन जाए, बट हमारे लिए तो हमारा छोटा भाई रहेगा. एंड आई विश हिम नथिंग बट द बेस्ट. यू नो, ही इज़ द बेस्ट, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट, एंड आई विश हिम ऑल द लक गोइंग फॉरवर्ड. ही शुड कॉन्कर not just in India but in the world as well. You know, winning abroad will be the best thing, and that will take him to a different level.
And you think he can do that? He has
Yes,
it in him?
He has it in
Winning
him.
abroad, specifically.
Yes, and he's that kind of a guy, whenever challenges come, he wants to be there. And knowing him deep within his mind and heart, he also wants to do it abroad. You know, he wants to win 4-0 or 3-0 or 2-0 in Sri Lanka, in New Zealand, in South Africa, in Australia. So that's what will make him different from all other captains.
Okay, Vijay sir, we'll talk about a young Virat Kohli. In your book, I've read the book, but if you'd like to share some initial anecdotes about Virat Kohli, and he talks about how gritty he was. You know, some stories about him, and it wasn't success right from the start. So he faced a lot of trouble during his growing up years. Could you share a few stories from there?
Yeah, like always, I mean, Bhaji also knows in Delhi it's very difficult to get recognition. It's the resistance to a newcomer is big, not from the players. There's so much of politics there, and Virat, of course, his coach was always confident that he is India material. Rajkumar Sharma, he had always backed him, and good he only went to one academy. Good he went to only one coach. He stuck to him. Atul Vasan was the one who was also among the early ones who thought that this boy can play for India. And the first selection I remember, it's a small anecdote in the book where he was to be picked for under 15, and there was a whole lot of talk in Delhi cricket circles that there is a boy who's coming up who will definitely play for India. But knowing Delhi politics, that selection meeting, it went on beyond 10, almost 11 it finished, and his name was not there. So one of his coaches also happened to be a selector. He was pressing for him. When he reached home sometime around 2 in the morning, there was a phone call, and this coach was very disturbed because if a phone rings at that time in the house, you are concerned. And Virat was at the other end. He wanted to know selection ka kya hua. Then he was told that you have not been picked, and he was obviously very disappointed. And then that is when he learned the best way to come into the team was to make runs. So he made runs by hundreds. I mean, every inning almost he used to get big scores. And next year the selectors had no choice. They had to pick him. He came into the under 15 team. Again made hundreds at that level. He made 2 double hundreds in the under 17 national championships. And by then I think all these senior players were also aware that there is a player who will be joining them very soon. And then he was picked for the under 19 team, led them to the World Cup title, and yeah, in Kuala Lumpur. So that is where his journey began. But he was a very intense cricketer, always disciplined. He never crossed the line, but very intense. He wanted to play for India, and I think that's what has brought him where he is today.
I just want to know, because you follow Delhi cricket, where are those selectors today? The ones that didn't pick him?
They must be in hiding because they were obviously embarrassed. Next year also they had to pick him when he made those runs. And similarly, I think it's not very different in Punjab. There also you have to perform exceedingly well to get into the team.
You know, the closest that I know someone is to Sachin Tendulkar. You're very close to Virat Kohli. Like I said, we in the media were sometimes blamed for it, but we love comparing Sachin with Virat. What do you make of this comparison?
See, if you see the records, Virat Kohli is doing really well. And obviously, I want him to, break all the records in the world. But Sachin will remain Sachin. For me, Sachin will remain number 1. Virat Kohli will always be a champion player. मैं बस एक छोटी सी बात में सम अप कर सकता हूँ कि पाजी की जगह कोई नहीं ले सकता. वो चैंपियन प्लेयर, मतलब उसके कारण बहुत लोगों ने क्रिकेट खेलना शुरू किया है. तो उनमें से एक मैं भी हूँ. और विराट भी यही कहेगा कि पाजी बाजी हैं, चाहे बेटा कितना ही बड़ा हो जाए, कभी बाप नहीं बन सकता है. तो आई विश विराट कोहली टू ब्रेक ऑल द रिकॉर्ड्स इन द वर्ल्ड, but Sachin will remain Sachin, number 1.
Okay, great. Great way of summing up the god of cricket, as we call him. Vijay said because we're comparing Sachin with Virat, now there's a stark difference in how they were as youngsters. Sachin Tendulkar, I don't think was dropped ever from any sort of team. As soon as he was 12, 13, everyone knew he's going to play India. Every selection meeting, he was the first name that probably selectors wrote. Virat had a different journey, yet they both are successful. Did you see that difference in their quest to be the best, and how each of them dealt with that?
I think Sachin was more intense. If you see, he had tougher bowlings to face wherever he played. From the beginning.
His international cricket.
Yeah, from his first tour in 1989, going to Pakistan with that kind of bowling attack, and he had very little experience of cricket, in the sense 2 years of domestic cricket he had played. So it wasn't easy. One should not take away any credit from Virat. The international bowling standards, I'm sure, if Baji would agree privately or in public, have fallen. So, but to go out and make runs is always difficult. And in Sachin's case, even though the team had people like Lakshman, Dravid, Saurav, Sehwag was opening, but in his initial days, there was a lot of pressure on him to perform. Every time he took guard, he had to make runs, whether he was playing test cricket or limited overs. There was no 20-20 at that time. And he would never used to sleep before a game, because he was always worried what will happen next day. And it was not fear of failure. It was just the desire to perform every time he went out. So same, you can say that Virat also has the same desire, the same passion, you may say, excitement to go out and make runs. But like Harbhajan said, Sachin was miles ahead.
I'd like to pick your brains on that, what Vijay sir mentions about bowling standards. I'm deviating a bit, but very important point he brings about. Do you see that bowling standards dip? Because, I'm just going back to when Gavaskar was playing, people said there was no one like, the West Indian fast bowlers, Dennis, Lilly, Thompson. Now he gives an example of the bowlers that Sachin faced. Vakar and Wasim as an example that he mentioned. Have you seen the bowling standards dip as a bowler?
See, overall, as a cricketer, मेरी जो सोच है, जो मैं देखी है पिछले कुछ सालों से, overall जो cricket का standard है वो dip हुआ है.
And
overall,
not just bowling.
Not just bowling, but batting also. If you see, कि like Australia had, 7 champion batsmen, and you say South Africa had all champion batsmen, and their bowling was also really strong. But if you see South Africa today, when they're playing in South Africa, you talk about De Villiers is really good. So, बाकी Du Plessis is really good. But उसके अलावा आपको 2-3 नाम ऐसे देखेंगे, बाकी ठीक है. But उन दिनों बाकी भी बहुत उतने ही अच्छे होते थे. और अगर इंडियन टीम भी देखिए, अगर सौरभ, सचिन, राहुल, और ये बैटिंग लाइनअप, वीरू, was like कि यार कमाल की बैटिंग लाइनअप है. युवराज सिंह, MS धोनी, ये कमाल की बैटिंग लाइनअप है. आज की बैटिंग लाइनअप अगर विराट, अगर देखिए विराट है, फिर विराट के अलावा बाकी जो उसके उतने बराबर के प्लेयर तो खैर टैलेंटेड हैं बहुत ज़्यादा, बट वैसा नाम नहीं है. और ओवरऑल जो क्रिकेट है, अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया की अभी ये टीम देखो, स्टीव स्मिथ और वार्नर के बजाय मुझे बाकियों के नाम भी नहीं पता है. और ऑनेस्टली ये शायद ऑस्ट्रेलिया में ये सीरीज़ हो रही होती तो मैं शायद बोलता कि रिज़ल्ट शायद कुछ और हो सकते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर प्लेइंग इन इंडिया. यहाँ पे सरफेसेस जो हैं वो हमें स्पिनर्स को हेल्प करेंगे, और उनके स्पिनर्स मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो इतना ज़्यादा कुछ एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं अपना हमारी कंडीशंस में. और ओवरऑल विजय भाई, नॉट जस्ट बॉलिंग, आई फेल्ट बैटिंग हैज़ ऑल्सो गॉन डाउन इन इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट. सब टीमों में 2-2 बैट्समैन ही रह गए हैं. अभी वेस्ट इंडीज़ में तो आई डोंट सी, उनके टेस्ट क्रिकेट, देयर वाज अ सीरीज इंडिया वाज प्लेइंग इन वेस्ट इंडीज़, नॉट इवन अ सिंगल गाय आई नो in their batting lineup who could actually, score 100 or who played more than 10 games for West Indies. So you can see where the batting and bowling has gone and the cricket standard has gone. West Indies team was a champion team, having Brian Lara, Hooper, to a lot of top batters, Chandrapal, no matter, कैसा stance था कैसा नहीं, but उसको run बनाने आते थे. Run machine था वो West Indies के लिए. तो overall I think standards of cricket have gone down a bit.
Okay. So since we're comparing, and I'll ask Bhaji this, but before that, Vijay sir, another comparison, I compared Virat to Sachin. The other comparison is Harbhajan with Ashwin. First, how do you see this comparison? What makes them different or what makes them similar?
Main thing is Harbhajan...
It's very natural if two good players are there to compare. That's why.
No, not because he's here. You see the record and you talk to players. Harbhajan never needed to look at the pitch. That was the best thing about him. I remember we never, on all those tours, whenever we have spoken before the game, he has never shown any inclination to go and see the pitch, how it will behave or how it will affect his game. So the best thing about him was he could bowl on any surface, and he has performed overseas. So we'll have to wait. I don't want to compare because there is no comparison. Harbhajan Singh, again, not because he's here, he's one of the finest we have had. And he has bowled to some of the best batsmen in the game, which Ashwin still is yet to. He may have bowled to some good batsmen, but he's a decent bowler. We'll have to wait and see how he performs overseas. It's not his fault that most of the matches are being played in India. But then you have to see the quality of batsmen he used to bowl to on the kind of surfaces he has bowled, and in what situations. Often he and Kumble would have to come in within the first 15 overs or 10 overs, bowling with almost a new ball. It's not easy, and not just in one days, even in test matches, they have come and bowled early, and the fear. See, Ashwin is yet to create that fear which Harbhajan had among the opponents. They knew that there was a bowler we have to guard against. So that is the main difference.
How do you view it when people ask you? I know on social media a lot of people ask you. How do you view it, and how do you see the difference between the two of you?
I normally don't talk about it. So there's no reason I should talk about it today. But I wish him all the best. You know, he's definitely a very good bowler. Ashwin is doing really well, and I wish him all the luck for coming series. And I hope he'll perform as well as he's doing and win this series for India.
No, because you want India to do well. If you ever notice somewhere that he can, become better, as to give a tip, would you be open to that? Because sometimes watching it, you can see better. Sometimes from the outside.
Well, I don't think he need any sort of tip. He's doing really well, and he should stick to his strength and basics. And he's very intelligent enough to understand his own game. And obviously, if at all in life, whenever anyone, not just Ashwin, anyone need my help for betterment of Indian cricket,
Right.
I'm always there to be there to support, not an outsider, but as a elder brother or younger brother.
But I'll
No,
ask,
elder only.
yeah, if I can ask
Yeah,
Bhaji
sure.
one thing. How difficult it is to be a bowler in today's cricket? I mean, in the sense, from your time also and earlier, it was always a batsman's game. So do you think it's very difficult, and in times to come, like today, there are not many spinners coming on Indian domestic circuit. Everybody wants to bat or maybe be an all-rounder.
See, Vijay bhai, there is a reason. It's okay. It's good if you're playing international cricket at the moment and you're getting the surfaces to bowl and you're a spinner and you're getting, what you want, as a spinner. Ball spinning from the first ball and you're winning half of the battle. But taking your questions for the younger spinner, why they are not coming, because we are playing Ranji Trophy on different surfaces where there's hardly any help for the spinners and they don't want to bowl because if the ball will not spin, nothing will happen. They'll continue to bowl for 4 days and they won't get wickets, and boundary lines are getting smaller, bats are getting bigger, and we need to encourage, spinners to bowl, flight the ball, spin the ball as hard as they can, and they need to learn how to bowl on good surface, and only if they know how to bowl on a good surface, they will be able to take wickets when they go abroad. So it's about, teaching them the right technique and right sort of things to do to get them to do, what they can achieve when they go abroad. So that's probably one of the reasons we don't give them what they'll actually get at the top. If we will start giving turners in domestic circuit also, you'll see a lot of spinners bowling. You'll see anyone rolling their arm and taking wickets. So you want to, give something for those spinners also. At least third day, fourth day, कुछ होना चाहिए. तो इसलिए वो spinners बने. और बाउंड्री लाइन ऑब्वियसली बड़ी होनी चाहिए और बैट का साइज डेफिनेटली जो है वो इतने बड़े बड़े हो गए हैं कि मिस हिट भी छक्का जाता है, तो कौन स्पिन बॉल डालेगा. मैं खुद कई बार ऐसे पकड़ता हूँ और ऐसे आ जाता हूँ. आईपीएल इज ए फॉर्मेट जहाँ पे बंदा सोचता है कि आप क्या करें. एवरी बॉल इज a free hit. Whether even if you get out, nobody is going to say anything because you are looking to get runs. But as a spinner, if you get him out, fine, ठीक है, चलता है यार. But अगर नहीं आउट किया तो क्या बॉलर है यार तू, 2-3 छक्के खा गया तो क्या करे. यहाँ तो बाउंड्री लाइन बड़े होने चाहिए. आई थिंक दैट्स अ बिग कंसर्न कि हमारे पास इतना खुला मैदान है, बट हमने आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट कि वहाँ चेयर लीडर्स नहीं होने चाहिए, ये नहीं होना चाहिए, वो सब हों, बट उनके लिए स्टैंड्स ऊपर बन सकते हैं. सो वो सब अगर होना है तो क्रिकेट के कारण ये सब हो रहा है. जो लोग देखने आ रहे हैं वो सब देखने आ रहे हैं, तो अगर वो सब जरूर करवाना है तो उनका कहीं और स्टैंड बन सकता है और बाउंड्री लाइन कैन गो लिटिल फर्दर बैक एंड पीपल नीड टू हिट रियली वेल टू गेट दो 6 और 4 व्हाटसोएवर, कि एटलीस्ट बॉलर के पास थोड़ा सा मार्जिन होना चाहिए. वो मुझे लगता है, दिस इज माय पर्सनल व्यू, और इसको डोंट टेक इट अदरवाइज कि मैंने ये एक सजेशन इसलिए दिया है कि चेयर गर्ल्स के ऊपर ये उनसे मेरे को कोई लेना देना नहीं उनसे, और मेरी शादी अच्छी हो गई है.
No, but for those of you who haven't gone to see an IPL match and in the stadium would have seen or noticed that actually the boundary line is coming really, close to the 30-yard circle.
बिल्कुल, कई बार ऐसे घूम के देखो यार इधर ही है क्या.
No, so that's a very valid suggestion. We're not taking it otherwise. But let's go back to Virat Kohli. And we want to talk about Virat Kohli off the field. Vijay sir, would you want to tell us how he is? Because you interact a lot with him. I mean, people would love to know Virat, his persona off the field.
I think he is like any of the youngsters of today. But from whatever little I have seen, he's very respectful to his seniors. That is what I like. Uh, Suppose if he's talking about Bhaji in his absence, he will always add Bhaiya or Bhaji Bhai when Harbhajan is not around. So that speaks of his grooming and how he looks at his seniors. The best thing I like about him is his presence on the social media, how he reacts to uh, social issues, his comments, the fact that he is India captain, a very popular cricketer. Uh, it makes him understand his responsibility towards the society also. I mean, if you like, nobody goes and asks him questions. He's on his own. He will post a comment on Twitter or on Instagram. So that is what that is. It shows that he has mellowed. He has grown as an individual, and I think he's a very responsible icon, you may say.
Any insight from you, Harbhajan, on Virat Kohli, the person, not the cricketer? The cricketer, everyone sees him, but the person that you meet, or the one who calls you Bhaiya?
He is obviously, जैसे विजय भाई ने कहा है, बहुत रिस्पेक्ट देता है. At the same time, बहुत फन भी करता है, बहुत मस्ती करता है, और इतना बड़ा प्रैंकस्टर, इतना बड़ा मस्ती करने वाला कोई और शायद टीम में नहीं है.
कोई एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं?
एग्जाम्पल्स मतलब उसको बैटिंग के बाद अगर कोई चीज़ करनी आती है तो सिर्फ और सिर्फ मस्ती आती है. और ऑफ कोर्स जिम विम तो वो करता ही है, अच्छा खाना भी खाता है, वो सबको पता है. बट उसको ये है कि शुगर लगाना है बाजी, मज़े करने हैं, मज़े करता है, ज़िंदगी अच्छे से जीता है और सबकी मिमिक्री करता है. और अगर कोई सही में एक्टर है इंडियन टीम में तो विराट कोहली है. कभी आपको बोलना उसको कि किसी भी एक्टर, यू पिक द एक्टर, ही विल डू इट. और एक्टर तो छोड़ो, उसके साथ जितने भी खेल भी रहे हैं उनकी भी करेगा. टॉप एक्टर, not just a top cricketer.
Okay, so he has a career after cricket also.
No, I want him to be just a cricketer. But actor अगर बनना होता तो वो कब का बन चुका होता. But a top guy, I think he has got all the quality to be at the top. Not just as a cricketer, but अगर वो स्टैंड ऑन कॉमेडी भी करता ना तो शायद उसमें भी वो कपिल शर्मा को पीछे छोड़ जाता.
Okay, so who's a better mimic, you or him?
Sorry,
who's a better mimic, who can do mimicry better?
I think Virat Kohli.
Okay, but for people here who don't know about Harbhajan Singh's talent as a mimic, would you like to share a few?
I said before leaving, if he wants, he can mimic us. You know,
I can't
but
do it.
he is a fantastic mimic. I remember once in Harare, there was this
Name him. Don't name him. No, don't take names. Don't take names.
Nothing wrong. Coach was Chetan Chauhan, and his wife was coming. So he had gone to the airport early morning. And what Harbhajan did was he called up a few players and told them, mimicking Chetan Chauhan's voice, come to my room at 7 and collect your allowances. So you can imagine every 2 minutes his doorbell was ringing and Chetan Chauhan was coming out. Then later they realized that he had played that mischief, and he asked, almost half the team was lining up outside Chauhan's room to collect the tour allowances.
On
नहीं बाबा, बस I'm not going to do anyone's mimicry here.
Please, on popular
No, I'm not doing it. Please, thank you. This was a great story. बस हो गया. अभी चेतन भाई का मुझे फोन आएगा कि
No, this is only limited to the audience here. It's not.
No, but this is not limited because the cameras are like taking this news to everywhere. Sorry, I can't do it.
No,
here.
nothing wrong. It was just taken in good spirit, and even Chetan Chauhan had a big laugh. That's not that. But the first man to ring the bell was VVS Lakshman. So when he comes here,
yeah, he's
for the
coming
session,
tomorrow.
you should ask him.
Okay, I've just seen Gideon walk in. He's sitting right behind. Had he come in earlier, so just for his benefit, I'd like to tell you that we spoke about India, Australia, and Harbhajan says that if Australia plays really well, they'll lose 3-0, if they play really well. So going back to now, Virat Kohli versus...
Sorry, mate. Nothing to do with you, but just my observation of the game, mate. That's how we do it.
Okay, going back to Virat Kohli, you've played with some great batsmen. We spoke about great batsmen from your time and previously. So he made it very clear that there's no one like Sachin Tendulkar. He's number one. But you said the standard of game has dipped. But let's say Virat was playing, I'm just putting a hypothetical question, Virat was playing during your time, and you mentioned the likes of Sachin, Saurabh, Virendra Sehwag, playing VVS Lakshman. Do you think if he was playing at that time, he would have held his own amongst these players?
Definitely, yes. He would have still got runs. He would have still be India's top player. There's no doubt about it, because he have got the game. And now you see, he worked really hard, not just on his game, but overall on his body, on his, everything, include fitness and everything. He's the one who is actually a leader people look up to. कि ऐसा बनना है. क्योंकि if you have the body, if you have the physique to, do well, that will take you for a longer period of time at that, कि आपके career के ऊपर. और विराट का जो passion है, अगर वो उस टाइम भी खेलता, definitely वो रन बनाता. मुझे नहीं लगता है कि उसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि वो रन नहीं बनाता.
Can you tell us a little bit more about his fitness? Because many attribute that particular aspect of Virat Kohli's personality as one of the major reasons why he's so successful. How has it evolved since the time you were playing to now, fitness in a cricketer? And is he the flag bearer there?
See, fitness have gone to different level, from our time to now. I'll tell you a story. I was in Bangladesh with T20 Indian team, and I was a bit out of shape. I had my wedding and stuff, a lot of meetha and all that, everything. So these guys, Shikhar and Virat, told me, Paji, you are just going totally out of shape. We want you to go in the gym and do something about it. And I told them, boss, if you want me to go, you take me along with you guys. But every day they used to knock on my door, either Shikhar or Virat, ki chalo, chalo. और जो मेरा सुस्त अंदर का सुस्त हरभजन सिंह जो सोया हुआ था उसको जगा दिया. And then next 4 months I worked really hard on my body, and from there onwards वो एक नशा सा लग गया कि नहीं करना ही है, क्योंकि you feel fresh, you feel good, और obviously it helps you to play well. You get faster, you get more mobilized, so you can do things better, you can feel better, you can move around quick. So that's where Virat Kohli comes into a picture, not just doing what he did for himself, but he motivates others to do it for the team's betterment. If you see this Indian cricket team, they're all fit guys. They all can field. We used to talk about Australian fielding, South African teams fielding, and I wish I had a fielding team like what we have now, to run around and chase the ball and take catches. Obviously, we had Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakshman, great catches, but to save boundaries and to do stuff what these guys do, it's hats off. It's a lot of credit must go to the fitness trainer and Virat Kohli himself for setting the right example for all the young boys coming into the team. This should be the standard of the guys who will make it into the national team, and this is how we'll do it. If you're not fit enough, you will not get into the side.
Okay, we're running out of time, but I will take questions from anyone who would like to ask questions of Vijay Lokapally and Harbhajan Singh. But before that, while you think of your questions, one final question to you on the book. It's called Driven. If you could just sum up for us, what is it that, since you've interacted with Virat while writing the book, what is it that drives Virat to achieve this kind of success that he is right now?
I think his passion to win. That's the main thing, and he takes the responsibility upon himself. He did it for Delhi, he did it for RCB, North Zone at various points. Then obviously India, which everyone knows how he has. He is actually driven to see that India becomes the #1 team. And my only desire, if you ask me, is for him to go and do well in England, because it is held against him every time he does. His critics say that he didn't perform well, but they don't realize Anderson was bowling at his best then in that series, and he was also getting out to very good deliveries. So the day he goes and beats England in England with big scores, I think that will be he'll be setting new benchmarks for himself.
Okay, great. Any questions? Yeah, we've got a question there. There's the mic there, sir. Use the mic, please.
Good morning, all. My question, one each to Harbhajan Singh ji and Vijay Lokapally ji. To you, sir, first. We had compared at the beginning Sachin and Virat. In your opinion, Sachin of 1997-98 versus Virat Kohli of 15-16. How do you differentiate?
I think Sachin of 98, because Like I said, he was facing some of the best bowlers in the world, and he was also performing very consistently, as Virat. But Sachin, like Harbhajan said, he'll always remain a step ahead.
Thank you, sir. One more question to you.
So one question.
Just
Oh,
they say bowlers hunt in packs. Like we had Waqar Yunus, Wasim Akram. You were in company of Anil Kumble. But even uh, amongst international teams, you had Shane Warne, Muralitharan, you, Kumble, who were great spinners of that era. We had four great all-rounders from 75 to almost 90. Then there were Waqar Yunus, Wasim Akram, Ambrose, Walsh. So does it help to have great players playing for different teams to motivate you as a bowler?
Obviously, when the competition gets better, it motivates you to do well against the best. You know, when we played against likes of Jack Callis, not to forget him, he was a top batsman. And not just a batsman, when it comes to his bowling, he was a top bowler. For me, he will be all-time the best all-rounder world cricket have ever seen. So playing against such guys, Jack Callis, Brian Lara, to Saeed Anwar, to, if I talk about batting, and Zamambai, and all the greats, Steve Waugh, Mark Waugh, it brings the best out of me. I wanted to do well against these guys to test myself if I'm good enough to bowl against these guys, and if I can get these guys out, then that means I can definitely play, play at this level for longer period of time. But it's good to have competition. If there is a competition, you can only improve then. If there's no competition, you don't know where to go.
okay, great. There's a question there. Go ahead. In the red T-shirt. Yeah.
Hi, Harbhajan. Just one question. You were a part of the team that did exceptionally well overseas under Ganguly's captaincy. You drew in Australia, won a test match in South Africa, drew in England. What do you think that this Indian team needs to do to sort of replicate that kind of success or competitiveness outside Asia? The guys, the success that your team had in between 2000 and 2006 overseas, or 2008 really.
I think they need to believe in themselves, first of all, to achieve that. And on top of that, every time they bat, they need to score more than 400s, and that gives a lot of leverage for your four bowlers who are match winner bowlers to take those 20 odd wickets. And we need to have someone like Virender Sehwag at the top who score quick runs for the team. Like Virender Sehwag, what he did, if he bat till lunch, he'll score 100, and automatically by the end of day, if we are 3 down, 4 down, or even 5 down, we have more than 350 or 300. So he was one guy who set the match for us, and that as bowlers gave us a lot of time to take those 20 wickets. So this team need to start doing that often. That somebody at the top scoring runs quickly, and of course pick 4 bowlers who can take you those 20 wickets, whether those are 2 spinners or 2 fast bowlers. You back those 4 bowlers, and I'm sure this team have it in them, and it's just about believing in themselves and setting the goal. And I'm sure Virat will be really looking forward to conquer that part as well. Winning abroad, that will obviously be the best thing.
Great. You wanted to ask a question. Do you have a mic? Just there. Just wait for your mic. It's coming from there.
The question is to Vijay sir. We've heard about Virat's passion to win. What is he like? Insights as to what is he like when he loses?
He takes the responsibility on himself. I mean, as a true captain or a leader, I think he's a leader now, not a captain. If you see how he's carrying the team along and how the team responds to his demands whenever he makes. So the best thing is he owns up the defeat. Like Dhoni, whenever the team loses, he comes for the press conference. He doesn't allow somebody else. And when the same Virat, he is always willing to take on the media when the team is not doing well. So that speaks for his commitment as a team man.
No, but a little bit more as to how he reacts. Some players go into the shell for a couple of days. Some players throw stuff in the dressing room.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't go into a shell. He is once they step into the team bus, the match is forgotten. They're already thinking about the next game. So he's very positive. Maybe every defeat has taught him a few things, which he has. If you see, he doesn't repeat his mistakes.
Okay, we'll take just few more questions. There's one gentleman right here who wants to ask, and after him just 3 more questions. Yeah, I'll try to take just 3 more.
Thank you. Hello. So my question is to Vijay sir. The question is this, that how much time did it take for you to write that book? What kind of efforts went into it? And how many interactions you have had with Virat, while writing this?
It was very difficult because I had hardly 4 months time. I had to do it in less than 4 months, and for that I had to. It helped me because I knew most of the people he had played with, played against. So I brought in a new element. I spoke to a lot of opponents to get to analyze how they thought of him, and also umpires, because generally people tend to ignore umpires. They watch the game very very closely, and they also form an opinion of a bowler or a batsman. So I spoke to quite a few umpires who had done his games, and I remember there is an anecdote about a local game where he had to leave the field for a function at home, and he could have just left, but still he made it a point to go and ask the permission of the umpire if he could, if he could leave the game because he had some function. So that umpire, an international umpire, he said he was very impressed with this young boy. He was hardly 16. I mean, his cricket ethics. So it was hard work, and if you see, there are a lot of stories in the book. It took me 4 months. Maybe I would have done a better job if I had 8 months, but I'm happy with what I've written.
Okay, great. Ayasa.
So this is for Bhaji. This current Indian team, the batsmen all seem to be, almost all of them are from the same age group. They played a lot together from junior ranks. And then you've seen Virat kind of take off, So is there a sense of internal competition amongst batsmen which says, okay, I must do a little better? Or what is it that has separated him from the pack? Most of them are talented, otherwise they wouldn't be playing for India. But he now seems to have gone to another planet.
See, the only thing what I feel, the passion what Virat have, I think उसमें थोड़ी बहुत अगर कमी हो सकती है. बाकी talented तो रोहित शर्मा भी बहुत है. If you talk about Murli Vijay, he's very correct batsman. But Virat is, he's always been that kind of a guy that I want to do it. I want to be the guy in the middle to finish the game. And that's what I think took him to a next level. And वो passion, वो game के ऊपर मेहनत, वो इतना चबी था, इतना एक गोलू था, उसने पूरा अपना मेहनत की कि भाई मुझे अगर इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट खेलना है, if I want to be recognized as the top cricketer who played the game, तो मुझे ये सब काम करने पड़ेंगे. I have to be fast, I have to be, कि हर एक चीज़ वो टिक करनी पड़ेगी. तो वो उसने किया है, जो बाकियों ने किया होगा बट उसके मुताबिक नहीं किया है. उसने अपनी लाइफ इतनी डिसिप्लिन कर ली है, जहाँ तक मैं उसको जानता था, कि वो मीठा खाता था बहुत शौकीन से, और हमें भी खिलाता था. पाजी ये खा के देखो, पाजी ये खा के देखो. अब अगर हम भी मीठे की तरफ देखते तो हमें ऐसे देखता है. तो मतलब एक छोटी छोटी चीज़ें, उसने लाइफ इतनी डिसिप्लिन कर ली है. कभी सुबह 6 बजे उसको मैसेज करोगे तो जवाब आएगा, पर अगर 10:30 बजे मैसेज करोगे तो जवाब नहीं आएगा. दैट मीन्स ही इज स्लीपिंग. So he is so disciplined. That's what I think took him to a different level altogether, by not just doing कि ground में क्या हो रहा है. वो ground में करने के लिए जो बाकी चीज़ें ये छोटी छोटी रोल प्ले कर रही हैं, ये उसको विराट कोहली को different player बना रही हैं.
Okay.
This is what I feel, my personal opinion.
Yeah, the guy there in the specs, yeah. I'll take one here and one here. That's it, just 2
Mr.
questions.
Harbhajan
To that
Singh.
girl there.
Sir, there's been so much talk about Virat Kohli, but just on the offside, do you think MS Dhoni is going to last till the 2019 World Cup? Would he want to play the 2019 World Cup? Because you've spoken so much about how, the team setup is so important, how we need a backbone of the team, and MS has always been the backbone. What is your opinion?
Even I want to play. If Dhoni is a backbone, then, whatever bone I could be, so I don't mind. Obviously Dhoni is a great player who did really well for India, and I'm no one actually to say whether he should be part or he should not be part. But Dhoni, what he has done, throughout his career, whenever he played for India, he's done a tremendous job, and I wish him all the luck going forward. And I hope he's there. And if he's not there, I'm sure he will also wish the team really good. And even I am available for 2019. If you see my fitness, I am also following Virat Kohli. And लोग बाबा रामदेव को फॉलो करते हैं, इसको करते हैं. मैं विराट कोहली को फॉलो करता हूँ फिटनेस regime में, क्योंकि if I can get fit, then anyone can play. If they can play, I can play. So I want everyone to be ready. No one, you never know किसकी लॉटरी कहाँ खुलती है, और लॉटरी नहीं, ये एक ऐसा चांस होगा जो you'll be a chance for you to do something really special for the country. And let's see अगर कौन वहाँ होता है, कौन नहीं होता है. बट अगर मैं वहाँ हूँ तो भी है, नहीं हूँ तो मेरी टीम तो वहाँ है ही है. उनके लिए तो हमेशा खड़े ही हैं.
Okay. Yeah.
My question is for you, Mr. Harbhajan. So which current test team do you think can take on Team India in India?
Which is the only team that can take on India in India?
Current test team.
I think if we play on good tracks, I'm talking about game lasting for 5 days, I think this Australian team will be good enough to take India head to head. And South Africa definitely yes, England definitely yes. Up to some extent I would say New Zealand maybe, but these top 3 teams, South Africa, Australia and England, definitely, if we play on the surfaces, if the surface lasts for 5 days.
Okay, we're completely out of time.
And
So
if it lasts for 3 days, no one.
okay, completely out of time. I'll just sum up the important bits that Harbhajan mentioned on stage. Firstly, he said that if Australia play really, really well, then they'll lose 3-0 to India.
No, about why I'm saying, because last जो भी ट्रेंड हुआ है विकेट्स का या जैसे भी, वो विकेट्स ऐसे रहे हैं कि जहाँ पे 3-3.5 दिन में गेम खत्म हो जा रहा है. तो इफ वी प्ले ऑन गुड ट्रैक्स, देन ऑब्वियसली ऑस्ट्रेलिया will be able to restrict the score to 2-0 or whatsoever. But if we'll play on similar tracks what we played in recent past, then I'm sure the game will last only for 3.5 days. Then Australia will have no chance, because the ball will spin. Once the ball will start spinning, which is happening from the first ball, if that is happening, then Australia will not be able to do as well as what people are talking about, because they don't have the quality batting lineup apart from Steve Smith and Warner. They talk about, okay, they have played in the IPL, but let me tell you, IPL wickets are different wickets. When we play in IPL, those are high-scoring wickets. And if we play on such wickets, the match will definitely go on till the 5th day.
Okay, so just a question on that wicket. Why do you think it's changed so much, the nature of Indian wicket, from the time you were playing to now?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's basically the kind of team, the competition we want to play. So according to that, we are preparing, which is, I feel, that is what the management or whatever, whoever takes the call, has been decided. This is the kind of wicket we need to play. And but I would always be happy, one of those guys, who want to see the game going on the 5th day and fighting for the results. And that's what will make us the top cricketers. And that's what will give us, the players who can actually go abroad and win games. Only if you'll bowl 40 overs to get 5 wickets, 35 overs to get wickets, 5 wickets to win games, where you stand. So those 35 overs will give you a lot of learning. But if only you'll bowl 15 overs and get 5 wickets, or sometime 10 overs, you get 5 wickets, so you're not going anywhere. Yes, we are getting the results, but when we go abroad, what will happen? If you don't get wicket in first 10 overs or 15 overs, you're so used to getting 5 wickets in first, your 15 overs. So in abroad, sometime you have to bowl 35 overs to get 2 wickets. So that's where we need to play on good tracks, where we'll still win. We are top side, we are top players, we'll still win. But if not on 3rd day, we'll definitely win on the 5th day. But that will take us to a different level altogether. That will give us that, what we want. We are winning in Australia, winning in New Zealand. When things are going tougher, your spinner coming in, and taking the wickets. That's what will.
Okay, so as I understood it correctly, you're saying India has got a great team. They will still win. You don't need such tracks, and then you'll still win. In fact, you'll learn a lot if you have better tracks like the ones that were there while you were playing. Great. So just summing
I'm
up.
not saying that I played on the best of the tracks. Yes, it was flat. It was not like we had, whatever.
In the South Africa series.
Yeah, but I'm not saying if we have done better or they are doing better whatsoever. I'm not comparing here, but for Indian cricket's betterment, where I feel that this team can achieve, because we have got the team which can achieve everything. While we go abroad, we can win, but only way we can do it only if we'll practice enough, and to get those results. And by doing that, and there's no better practice than match practice.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much. Let's have a round of applause for Harbhajan Singh. I called him, one of the finest bowlers that's ever played for India, and Vijay Lokapally. Thanks so much for coming to SporTale.
For having me. Thank you. गाना गा सकता हूँ?